That year, I was in high school. I wanted to pursue that top student girl, so I pretended to be a poor student to ask her for after-school tutoring. But I wasn't careful and overacted. I built up an image of being so bad at studies that I got too immersed in the role. Once again, I brought my homework to ask her. Liu Ryan finally couldn't hold back and blurted out, "If our child in the future has a mind like yours, would she even survive?" When Liu Ryan uttered those words, I was stunned too. But the next second I smiled and looked at Liu Ryan. "You just said our child. Did I hear wrong?" "I said it's my child." Liu Ryan denied it expressionlessly. She looked at me leisurely. Actually, I knew for sure I didn't hear wrong, because the rims of Liu Ryan's ears had turned red. I don't know if she felt that hot tear. Liu Ryan, she's so young yet already thinking about having kids. I narrowed my eyes, propping my chin as I looked at her. "So who do you think the father of the child would be?" And then, the face of that top student girl gradually changed color. Liu Ryan placed the final exam paper in front of me, expressionlessly saying, "Aren't you here to ask about the homework? School starts soon and you'll be in 12th grade. See where you get into by then." I looked at the monthly test paper with all those wrong answers. In my ears echoed the helpless explanatory voice of Liu Ryan. I still grinned widely at her, occasionally nodding as if I understood. Now it's the summer break of 11th grade. I transferred to Huacheng No. 1 High School for the second semester of 11th grade. On the first day of school, the leaders held an award ceremony for the previous final exam. The top students on the list. Liu Ryan was first place. She had a speech on stage. I sat below, hearing through the microphone the gentle, pleasant voice of that girl. Under the sunlight, her figure on stage was hazy. I just felt that voice was so pleasant to hear. I was arranged to sit right in front of Liu Ryan's desk. My deskmate was Chen Zi, a gentle boy, wearing black-rimmed glasses. His books were full of dense notes. You could tell at a glance he studied diligently. From behind, the voice of Liu Ryan's deskmate called out, "Sister Yan, you're amazing! You got 148 on the math exam out of 150. If not for that small slip-up, wouldn't you have gotten full marks? Let me see your exam paper. I want to see what a near-perfect paper looks like." My deskmate Chen Shai showed admiration. In the first class, the homeroom teacher was also the math teacher. He naturally noticed me, the new transfer student Chen Zi. "Share your exam with the new student." So I got to see Chen Zi's exam and answers. He scored 108. This score is average in the class. His foundation is solid, but when he encounters slightly harder problems, his thinking gets tangled. The difficulty of the exam was medium. Oh heavens! Mainly because of the big question at the end. One class wasn't enough to explain the whole exam. The homeroom teacher lectured on the board for the big question at the end. Doing the first two small questions well is already great. The last small question is super hard for you all. The college entrance exam probably won't have something like this. Only Liu Ryan in the class solved it. I stared hard at the math problem, holding my pen, pondering, scribbling and drawing on the scratch paper. Finally, I found the answer. Comparing it to the reference answer, it felt great. "Zia Kong, what did you write?" Chen Zi's voice rang out. His eyes fell on my scratch paper. I quickly erased the answer, flashing him a bright smile. "Nothing much. I often lose focus in class." After class, a group of girls swarmed over, surrounding Liu Ryan's seat. "Sister Yan, how did you solve the last question? Let me see your solution." Chen Zi and the friends around also glanced toward Liu Ryan. The difference was that in his eyes, there was a bit of sadness. Just now he had tried to solve the math problem, but standing next to Liu Ryan, this circle of girls were all good at math, and close to him, girls are really approachable. This Sister Yan had nothing to do with age. It was just recognition of her academic ability. But at this age, daring to ask a classmate sometimes requires courage. The break quickly ended and the next class started. I continued reviewing my deskmate's exam with him. But that evening after school, I saw him still racking his brains over the last math question. I wanted to speak up several times. Finally, With the corner of my eye, I saw the person behind just packing up to leave. It was my classmate. Can I ask you about a problem? I conveniently introduced myself. My name is Zia Kong. And so, Liu Ryan's eyes fell on my face for the first time. I smiled at her. My charm isn't bad. On the first day, I already knew everyone in front, behind, left, and right, except for her. Mainly because Liu Ryan was too busy. After class, she was surrounded or called to the office by teachers. Liu Ryan's packing movements paused. She nodded at me. Okay, Chen Zi lent me his exam. I turned back to borrow the exam from my deskmate, then directly pointed to the big question at the end. The last one. Chen Zi was stunned. Liu Ryan also paused a bit, but she didn't say anything. She picked up her pen and scratch paper and started explaining seriously. Chen Zi also looked over. Liu Ryan's solution was very clear. Even her explanation came from a student's perspective. She paused at each step, looking at me. Do you understand this step? Chen Zi beside me nodded unconsciously. I asked, and then what? She heard, so she continued explaining. Liu Ryan's voice carried gentleness. Her personality seemed really nice too. More importantly, up close like this, she was really beautiful. I propped my chin, grinning at her, until Liu Ryan looked up and asked, understood. Under her gaze, I slowly shook my head, sincerely saying, sorry Liu. I'm a bit slow, I don't quite get it yet. But my deskmate seems to understand. Can I ask him? Can I borrow your scratch paper? Liu Ryan turned back. I took her scratch paper and handed it to Chen Zi, making a pleading gesture to him. Deskmate, trouble you to explain it to me again. Then Chen Zi looked at me, very responsibly nodding. That evening during self-study, he pulled me aside to explain. This guy is so honest. Liu Ryan behind was the goddess in the hearts of many boys. Smart, good-looking, beautiful figure. Like she stepped out of a school novel. The chatty friends around told stories. Some girl from another class pursuing her got rejected. Someone from the art class blocked her path. Love letters in her desk drawer with signatures, all returned. She really seemed unapproachable. As for me, I like making friends. 2 weeks after school started, I basically turned back every day to ask Liu Ryan about homework. At first, she patiently explained. Later, she probably realized I still didn't understand after listening. Knew I had other intentions. Chen Zi once mentioned to her in the evening, saying Liu Ryan doesn't like anyone. One afternoon, I turned back again to ask her, until everyone around had left. Liu Ryan stopped. Her eyes fell on my face. Zia Kong, this similar problem. You've asked me 3 times already. Still don't understand. I nodded. Liu Ryan thought for a moment, weighing her words. Your foundation is too weak, so start from simple problems. Don't waste time with me. And about you always coming back to ask me. Others will misunderstand, and I will too. A few seconds after she said that, I softly asked, you think I'm dumb to write? Sorry for bothering you. Liu Ryan quickly said, don't go. I didn't say you're dumb or not. Really, my eyes lit up as I looked at her. Liu Ryan sighed, all right then. From now on, ask about simple problems only. Don't challenge your foundation. She seemed a bit soft-hearted. That's it then. From that day, I started every few days bringing basic problems to ask her when she was free. Chen Zi seemed to see my weak foundation, also every few days explaining to me. I originally planned to refuse because my intentions weren't pure. I couldn't waste his study time. The result was, after Chen Zi explained to me once, he seemed to understand many ideas himself. So he got even more enthusiastic about explaining to me. He unintentionally found a learning method that suited him, giving both of us a sense of achievement. I tried to understand a bit after listening. Just that every time results came out, the looks from Liu Ryan and Chen Zi toward me both had a bit of disappointment. I felt a little guilty toward them. The consolation was that Chen Zi's scores really improved. After getting used to explaining to me, Liu Ryan's deskmate by Yue saw me always turning back to ask Liu Ryan. Couldn't help but tease, hey Zia Kong, you keep asking Sister Yan. Don't tell me you like her. Bai Yue has a lively personality. The whole class seemed to know him a bit, even the more introverted boys. I smiled at him. Is it that obvious? He didn't expect me to admit it so straightforwardly. Liu Ryan didn't expect it either. By Yue was stunned. Liu Ryan's eyes fell on my face. A moment later, like how she rejects others, even familiarly saying, "Don't waste time on me." I smiled brightly at her. How is it wasting time, friend Liu Ryan? I have to win both you and my grades. Especially her. Liu Ryan, by Yue behind, gave me a thumbs up. Half a second later, Liu Ryan expressionlessly said, "With your current level, you might not even get the grades." She said coldly, "To not disappoint my teachers. In the final exam, I intentionally improved a little, then used this progress as a reason to affirm the results of Liu Ryan's and Chen Zi's tutoring. Then quietly, I invited Liu Ryan to be my summer tutor." I overheard that Liu Ryan usually during winter and summer breaks tutors lower grade students. The fee isn't high. Mostly, parents she knows ask her to tutor their kids. Sometimes, several students study together at her house. Teacher little Liu, he'll pay more than them. Moreover, I'm a classmate. Turning a poor student like me into a good one, wouldn't that give more sense of achievement? Teacher little Liu, I beg you. I know you're both beautiful and kind-hearted. You surely won't abandon a poor student right beyond expectations. Liu Ryan agreed to one-on-one tutoring for me. Zia Kong, don't overthink it. I accepted because you pay well. Tutoring you is simpler than those noisy elementary kids. Also don't have any intentions. I don't date early. The girl was very serious. I grinned at her. Does she not know how to refuse people? Liu Ryan looked at me blankly. Liu Ryan, when refusing someone, you should say directly you don't like them, not that you don't date early. I propped my chin looking at her. Otherwise I'll say. Then I'll confess after the college entrance exam in June next year. At that time you agree. Liu Ryan seemed a bit flustered. Even more interesting, a moment later, Liu Ryan coldly said, "I don't like you, so what?" I believe in persistence wearing downstone. Teasing Liu Ryan is really fun. She's beautiful. When shy she tries to act calm, but her ears turn red. That girl's mindset is firm, but not good at hiding. It seems she likes me a bit too. Liu Ryan finally couldn't hold back and blurted out, "If our child in the future has a mind like yours, how would I survive?" After she misspoke about the child, she was silent for a very long time, as if swallowing the frustration in her heart. Zia Kong, do you always tease people like this? She suddenly asked me. I excitedly replied, I only tease you. If it's a lie, then seriously, I only tease you. This girl. Is that okay? I just stared at her, eyes sparkling with a smile. Why don't I see you teasing by Yue? So Liu Ryan fell silent again. Before the silence, she didn't forget to remind me to finish the work quickly. She was very responsible in improving my scores and treated it like an important matter. Very dedicated, very attentive. Every day she made study plans for me, proactively texted me. How is that not cultivating feelings? The school provided empty classrooms for 12th graders to self-study. Additionally, the library self-study rooms were to not disturb others. Liu Ryan and I mostly tried to book private self-study rooms in the library, also rooms to avoid people's teasing. Every day I did exercises, she did them beside me. The difference was I did basic ones. She did competition level ones. Occasionally glancing at me then sighing Zia Kong. She suddenly called my name. I replied, I'll return half the money to you. From now on outside don't say I tutored you. She said I'd ruin her reputation in the education circle. No way, I seriously refused her. Teacher little Liu one day as teacher, lifetime as teacher. And so she and I became a couple. Naturally, there were quite a few classmates coming to school for self-study during summer break who saw. So our relationship became ambiguous. Even by Yue secretly gave me a thumbs up. I shared the rumors about us with Liu Ryan. Teacher little Liu, do you need me to clarify? Liu Ryan glanced at me. If you can progress to top 100 in the whole 12th grade block, I'm willing to be the female lead in this rumor. She was quite humorous. I laughed endlessly. This reward is too tempting. So if I get top 10 in the block, can the rumor become real? She stared at my face for a very long time, then said get the score first, then talk. In August, I went to school for self-study as usual. Before even entering the school gate, I heard a familiar voice at the gate. My steps halted. As I turned, someone called my name. Kong, no choice. I turned back and walked toward the middle-aged woman there. Her outfit looked luxurious. Beside her was an expensive car worth tens of millions. My mother expressionlessly called out, "Do you still remember your mother?" Wangna looked at me full of displeasure. "Mom, what do you want?" "Today is Uncle Lisha's birthday. Want the whole family to have a meal together. You meet your little brother too. You two brothers cultivate feelings." I smirked. "Mom, you're really interesting. I remember my dad only had one child, me. I'm an only child. Where did a little brother come from?" She pointed at me, suppressing her anger. "You and your little brother are the closest people in the world to you. Uncle Lishu, good or bad, is an elder. What's wrong with you going to wish him happy birthday? A little pretty boy, when did he become my elder?" I stared at her. "Do you think I was too young back then? So I forgot everything. When you and that guy were caught by my dad in bed. Need me to remind you?" Before I finished, a loud slap made my face turn to the side. "Adult matters. Since when is it your turn to interfere?" Wang Na was like a cat whose tail was stepped on. At this time, there were few people at the school gate, but not none. Passing students looked at me and her with surprised eyes. I sneered, dared to do it, but afraid of people talking. Back then, if you had agreed to divorce, I might have respected you a bit. Dragging it out until my dad couldn't hold on. Wasn't it you who split my dad's assets? Holding my dad's money. Living luxuriously with the little pretty boy isn't enough. Now talking about family ties, are you confident? Wang Na's hand raised again. I wasn't stupid enough to let her hit me a second time. Just that before I could react, someone blocked Wang Na's hand, pulled me behind their back. "What do you want to do at the school gate?" Liu Ryan's cold voice rang out. Wang Na looked at Liu Ryan standing in front of me, frowned at his mother. "Disciplining my son, what's it to you?" Liu Ryan turned back to look at me, not knowing what she thought. Then turned to say, "You say you're his mother. Who knows if it's true or false?" Wang Na looked at Liu Ryan, then at me. "Yale studying poorly is one thing, but early dating at school, no matter what, I'm still your mother. So young, and already hanging out with random girls. You'll regret it sooner or later," Wang Na said as if heartbroken. "Mom wants you to go home and cultivate feelings with your little brother. What did I do wrong? Do you think just relying on him, you can keep what the family left for you? Cultivating feelings or having other intentions? You know clearly." I still expressionless. "I have no little brother." Wang Na finally couldn't hold back. Raised her hand again. "You come home with me." Liu Ryan still blocked in front of me. "Come closer. I'll call school security. You stinky brat, disciplining my son is none of your business. I warn you, if you keep entangled with Zia Kong, you'll find your parents." Liu Ryan wasn't threatened at all. She still stood straight, looking at Wang Na. "Go ahead and find them." Wang Na looked like she wouldn't stop without taking me. "Zia Kong, do you still see me as your mother? Tonight, obediently come home for dinner. Don't force me to go too far." Wang Na's voice lowered. "Mom is now your sole guardian. Do you believe it'll make you transfer schools?" I coldly looked at her. "If you have the guts, do it. I think you've lived too peacefully." Legally, she was indeed my guardian, but I wasn't someone she could easily manipulate. She and I stalemated at the school gate. A long time later, she got in the car and left. Liu Ryan watched the car disappear, turned back to look at me. "Zia Kong, are you okay?" Her voice was slightly heavy, because in those short 2 seconds, tears fell from the corner of my eyes. I tried to calm down and said to her, "Liu Ryan, thanks, but today I probably can't study." "You self-study." Probably because I was so different from usual. Liu Ryan seemed a bit flustered. Not long after, she led me to the nearby park, sat in that corner. "It's okay, just cry if you want," Liu Ryan said. She took out a pack of tissues from her bag, bought on the way just now, stood beside waiting for me to cry. while handing me tissues to wipe my tears. A long while later, she finally spoke. Was that person just now really your mom? Why? I choked back, asking her. The surroundings were too quiet. Even the wind blowing wasn't hot, cool and comfortable. Liu Ryan didn't say more. She quietly waited for me, but this silence made me want to pour out. Why don't you ask what happened? If you want to say, just say. You don't ask, how do I know where to start? Liu Ryan said, then why didn't you go with her? Because she's a terrible person. When young, relying on her looks and sweet words, she married into my family. When I was 7, my dad was diagnosed with terminal cancer. When he was seriously ill, discovered my mom had someone else outside long ago. Knowing he wouldn't live long, to split more money, she delayed not divorcing, just to inherit most of his assets. Even initially to split more, she fought for custody of me. After my dad passed, my grandma and grandpa took me back to raise. Initially thought most of the assets of the two had been transferred to my dad. After my dad died, she discovered the company shares were never transferred to my dad's name. She got none. My dad's assets were mainly houses, cars, and cash. After that, she married the little pretty boy and had a son. After my grandpa passed, she knew I was the sole heir. Started contacting to talk about family ties. Grandpa made a will. When I turn 18, he'll inherit all of Grandpa and Grandma's assets, including the company. Saying this, my voice paused. My mom said, I'm bad at studies. Later won't have the ability to manage the company. Wants me to cultivate feelings with her son to help me later. The first time I heard someone embezzling assets so shamelessly. Liu Ryan, you know, if something happens to me unexpectedly, my first heir is my mom, even though she betrayed my dad for years and never raised me a day. How dare I go with her? Human faces before interests are really ugly. Wang Na had harassed me many times before. The words she said, perhaps even she didn't realize. Completely blinded by greed, shedding the disguise for too long, she forgot how to deceive. Who knows if she wouldn't wait for me to die like she waited for my dad. Liu Ryan, after all, was a young girl with a bit of hating evil like enemies. Such people aren't worthy to be parents. For a bit of money, no conscience needed. Right. Just greedy for the family assets I inherited. Dozens of houses, over 20 cars, company shares, tens of billions in liquid funds, and all sorts of other assets. I was still a bit sad. Liu Ryan, why don't you say anything? Are you saying I'm dreaming? Liu Ryan asked back after a while. No. You can search online for my grandpa's name and bio. She didn't say anything again. Liu Ryan, after hearing my story, shouldn't you pity my situation? Then give me a comforting hug. The air fell silent again. She sighed. Now I feel a bit sorry for myself. But only a moment later, she asked again, so why did you transfer to watching #1 high school? This story is long-winded. I propped my chin, but mainly because before passing, my grandpa asked the principal, who is an uncle, to take care of me. Liu Ryan, her worldview seemed shaken. What's wrong with you? Liu Ryan, expressionless. Nothing. Just didn't expect the young master to be right beside me. I should probably uninstall those novel apps. Her words made me burst out laughing. Tears on her small face fell, probably looking a bit childish. Turns out top students read novels too. I have entertainment too, Liu Ryan said. She handed me another tissue. Just now you helped wipe my tears. Why not help now? Liu Ryan looked at me. A moment later said, you should be more wary of others. Not afraid people covet your money. Are you coveting? I asked, then quickly added, I really have a lot of money. Haven't you learned from your mom's lesson? Liu Ryan calmly said, don't easily be nice to poor girls. And don't let others know you have money. Are you poor compared to you? I said I'm very poor, but human qualities can't be measured by money. I stared at her. Rich people aren't all good. I might not be good either. Maybe I'm even deceiving you. What I just said could be made up. Do you believe it all? Liu Ryan's voice, with the summer wind blowing into my ears. But your sadness is real. She really is someone perfect to love. Liu Ryan sat with me the whole afternoon in the park. taking advantage of the good atmosphere. I asked her how about you like me. If we date, I'll treat you well, let you spend a lot of money. My dad once said, when you like someone, you want to give them all the best things. Like how he treated Wang Na and me. Before passing, actually, he had transferred many premarital assets to my name. The things Wang Na wanted she couldn't take. But Liu Ryan looked at me with complicated eyes. Do you want to keep me? Actually, it's not impossible. Liu Ryan rejected my confession. Also rejected being kept. You're really hard to pursue. She said just study hard first. Don't think about early dating. Honestly, at my old school, surrounded by girls with similar family backgrounds, they actually at this age already want. Some want to hook a marriage partner of equal status. Some simply have unhealthy minds. I wasn't sad anymore. Still couldn't help wondering, why don't you like me? They all quite like me. Liu Ryan talked about my pursuers. Just that their purposes aren't pure. Don't talk about peers. Girls a few years older than me, already in college, aren't good people either. Frequently appearing in front of me, acting like understanding big sisters. They dressed up glamorously, showing off in front of a minor, like peacocks spreading tails. In front of a minor, they flaunted their beauty, really lost all conscience. Liu Ryan, I have money. The adults who could handle things are all gone. Now I'm a fragrant rich guy. You know, how many people using the name friends of my grandpa? That status. Come to say they'll take care of me. Liu Ryan didn't say anything. She looked at me. A really long time later, she finally said, I understand why you can't study. Your head full of random thoughts. No wonder progress is slow. Not romantic at all. Liu Ryan's consolation for me ended here. Then she intensified the tutoring. She said, instead of idling on nonsense, better put effort into studying. Teacher Little Lia's professionalism was worth the money I paid her. Liu Ryan didn't take money just because I was pursuing her, but she still hoped I wouldn't tell others that she tutored me because intimacy would ruin her reputation. Summer break for 12th graders is really short. After school started again, the classroom actually missed a few figures. Liu Ryan wasn't there either. They were all competition candidates. Liu Ryan was the most promising candidate for direct admission to Peking University. From the start of the school year, she and the other competition registrants were grouped into a small team. During breaks, the people I could bother decreased. Only my enthusiastic deskmate left. Now he really likes explaining to me. By Yue, I don't know how. Looking at my face, guessed my heartbreak. Even opened his mouth to comfort Zia Kong. Think it through a bit. College and college dating are more important, right? Wait for her to get direct admission. Won't she come back to study with you? I looked at him, then at Chen Zi. Softly asked, you think Liu Ryan and I are dating too? Chen Zi blinked his round eyes, isn't it? Sure enough, this was a successful room. During summer break, seemed quite a few people saw Liu Ryan leading me to study every day. The innocent classmates thought only love would make Liu Ryan not abandon a poor student like me. Never leaving, never giving up. Seemed none of them were blinded by money. My classmates are so cute. The seat next to Bai Yue was always empty, piled full of Liu Ryan's textbooks and exercise books. The exams were all done, each one almost a model answer. Liu Ryan didn't study off track. Even if direct admission fails, going back to college entrance exam wouldn't affect much. In September, Liu Ryan returned once after competition to check my study progress. After checking, she frowned. Seemed like this was more serious than her own exam. I made a plan for you. If before college entrance exam your score reaches this number, she wrote a number on scratch paper, then you have a chance to get into these schools. I looked at the schools she mentioned, raised my brow. These schools, without exception, were all in the same city as the university she might attend. In the same city? Why only these schools? I grinned at her. Liu Ryan didn't answer my question. Study well. 12th grade time is really tough. Almost every time scores are announced, someone collapses crying. Under pressure, the sky above seemed covered in dark clouds. my scores steadily increased. When my deskmate Chenzi entered top 50 of the block, my score also entered top 200. Chenzi seemed very happy, so even more motivated to explain to me. One day, I asked him you explained so enthusiastically to me. What if one day my score surpasses yours? By Yue behind heard and laughed. Let me tell you Zia Kong, you really have ambition. Not only culling our sister Yan, now even aiming for top 50 with scores. Studying hard and raising scores is harder than dating many times. Classmate by Yue actually had good scores, always in top 20 of the block. Just that he didn't want to compete. Just wanted to take college entrance exam properly into a 985. I didn't correct the rumor. Liu Ryan didn't correct it either. So I didn't care. Chenzi grinned and said to me, if you surpass me, that would be great. It proves you're really smart. Now I only compare to myself, not to others. This guy's mentality is well adjusted. He even invited me to relax on weekends. Wanted to be good brothers with me. This 12th grade year, Wang Na also came to harass me. The reason was simple. I'd grown up. In November, I officially inherited all of Grandpa's assets. Became a legitimate little rich heir. Wang Na didn't know exactly what I inherited, but she knew she had an extra insurance policy. Wanted to extract money and resources from me. At the same time, she seemed very concerned about my scores. As if suddenly turning into a kind mother. Saying college entrance exam not good is fine. I could apply to foreign schools. On my birthday, I received many wishes. Liu Ryan wasn't at school. She seemed to be in some training course. But she sent me a high-quality fountain pen. With a card. On it, elegant handwriting wrote bright future like brocade. Her wish didn't add even one more sentence. End of month, Liu Ryan returned to school. She looked a bit thinner. Saw my score improved again. A bit relieved, she made a new plan. The schools she chose for me based on current scores were actually still far from. By Yue, long time no see. Deskmate exclaimed in surprise, Sister Yan, you're finally back. How did the finals feel? Liu Ryan wasn't one to boast before results. She said just so-so. By Yue saw her holding my exam. Exclaimed again, Sister Yan. We've been classmates for 2 years. Why don't I see you making study plans for me? Am I that much worse? Liu Ryan's competition results were announced. Liu Ryan smoothly entered the national team. Wachang number 1 high had only 3 including her. Time passed especially uneasily. In a blink, one semester ended. New year came. Early from February, the school spread news of Liu Ryan's direct admission. In March, big red banners were hung. The electronic screen in front of the teaching building also started scrolling. Congratulations to student Liu Ryan for direct admission to Peking University. The school had 3 banners total. Liu Ryan's was in the most prominent position. After admission, her time was very free. Liu Ryan didn't choose to rest, but returned to school, back to her seat. Became someone who answered questions for classmates anytime. Teachers naturally didn't mind. I noticed Liu Ryan now watched me do work every day. She was already admitted, yet came back to school to supervise my studies. Someone directly teased in front of her sister Yan. Knowing dating you gets one-on-one tutoring, I would have pursued you. By Yue beside laughed haha. Sister Yan, if he gets it I should too. The boys teased openly without knowing limits. I stared at Liu Ryan. Softly asked, why don't you explain? Explain what? Liu Ryan asked, we're not dating. Great, Liu Ryan replied. You've entered top 100 of the block. I thought for a long time, before remembering the joke from last summer. If I entered top 100 of the block, she was willing to be the female lead of the rumor. I curved my eyes at her, so if top 10, does that agreement still count? Liu Ryan was silent for a long time before saying, this might be a bit hard for you. Won't make it difficult. After the 100-day pre-exam assembly, the classroom atmosphere got even tenser. The college entrance exam angle got closer. Liu Ryan stayed in class. Tutoring me homeroom teacher also saw, but Liu Ryan was directly admitted. My scores improved greatly, so teacher turned a blind eye. Of course, Perhaps because when teacher wanted to contact my parents, the other end was the principal's voice. Uncle principal entrusted by my grandpa was my guardian for the remaining high school years. Over 2 months passed quickly. In a blink entered the college entrance exam. Before the exam room, a crowd came to hold Liu Ryan the study god's hand, begging to borrow some luck for me. Initially, just a few girls close to Liu Ryan came to hold her hand, but before the college entrance exams poll, even the most introverted girl in class lined up to hold. Before college entrance exam, Liu Ryan just stood there quietly, let the whole class of girls touch her hand. Like an honest, helpless person, I beside laughed until I couldn't stand straight, but still stood in front of her. My turn now. Liu Ryan paused a bit, but still didn't resist. Resignedly extended her right hand. The next second, I directly hugged the girl in my arms. The crowd around cheered loudly. I softly said in Liu Ryan's ear, "This luck, let me rub a bit more, okay?" After releasing Liu Ryan, her face still expressionless, but her ear rims red like bleeding. Waiting for me to prepare to enter the exam room, she finally spoke. "Zia Kong, do your best." This June, cicadas chirped lively outside the window. Summer wind still carried stifling heat. Each question under the pen would become a footprint for the future. After college entrance exam, I welcomed a busy period. The people grandpa arranged before passing led me to start contacting company work. In his arrangement, I had to, at this age, contact these things, no matter how much assets I had. In many people's eyes, I was just a manipulable employee. The families showing concern for me were the same. Company shareholders too. They subconsciously looked down on me, waiting for me to mess everything up, then like headless flies go beg for help. This period was too busy. I had to decline invitations to hang out during break from same-age friends. Even Liu Ryan, I could only tease her on WeChat in spare time. Anyway, Liu Ryan didn't forbid it. After exam, she asked how I did. Need her to help estimate score. I refused, but didn't forget to ask pitifully, "What if I fail?" Liu Ryan always comforted with a few words. She was very smart, but never looked down on low-scoring classmates. When asking her questions, she didn't deliberately show off, using knowledge beyond high school curriculum, but tried to use basic knowledge. Good person, heh. Who wouldn't like teasing such an honest person? On score announcement day, I still accepted Liu Ryan's invitation to go out. Met at a small relaxing cafe. "Liu Ryan, I wanted to run and hug you." Then her face blushed again. "Why do you hug at every turn? In broad daylight, mind yourself a bit." I'd sat down, grinned at her as long as not in a crowd. "Hugging is okay, right, Liu Ryan?" She didn't say anything. On the table, drinks and snacks were ordered. Time gradually reached when scores could be checked. Liu Ryan took my phone, entered my candidate number. I saw her breathing clearly heavier, eyelashes slightly trembling, seemed even more nervous than checking her own score. Pressed the query button. She suddenly looked up at me, asked, "When you said you like me before, were you serious or joking?" I raised my brow. "In your eyes, do I like joking that much? Why don't I joke like that with others?" The next second, Liu Ryan's hand placed on mine, her voice very light, but her eyes unusually serious. "Then okay, no matter how you score, we'll be together." I was stunned for a few seconds before realizing what happened. "I have a girlfriend now." Liu Ryan had pressed the query, but the website loaded forever without score. At this time, the whole province, who knows how many checking scores? Not loading right away is normal, but refreshing a few times still the same. In the same cafe, seemed others were also checking scores. Around, clearly some had gotten scores, chatting lively with friends. But Liu Ryan, after a few refreshes, still no score for me. She looked at me, comforted. "It's okay. Maybe scores are released in batches, yours not updated yet." The next second, my phone rang. An incoming call. Liu Ryan returned the phone to me. I pressed answer, even though surroundings were a bit noisy, but the sound from the speaker was enough to enter my and Liu Ryan's ears. "Hello, is this Zia Kong? It's me, I'm the teacher from the admissions office of the university. Congratulations, your college entrance score is in top 50 of the province. Have you considered? After this call, I looked at Liu Ryan, who was stunned, smiled at her. Originally planned to find you after scores to claim the promise. Who knew you didn't need me top 10 of block? Already followed me. Before she could reply, my phone rang again. Several calls in a row ended. I turned my head, propping chin, looking at girlfriend Liu Ryan. Do you want me to apply to the same university as you? My newly appointed girlfriend Liu Ryan. In those few calls, finally realized the truth. I deceived her for over a year. Zia Khan, you pretended to be poor at studies to fool me. How is student matters called fooling? Thanks to your over-a-year study path, I finally broke through myself and got high score. I stroked her hand. Who knew pretending poor but really won you? Liu Ryan was angry, but not really. Like sulking. Don't be mad. First day out of singlehood, have to coax girlfriend. What if I scored to my previous level? Would you be happy? Liu Ryan thought a bit. Still not happy. Girls are so hard to coax. I leaned close to her, then quickly kissed her lips. Liu Ryan. Under her gaze, I pecked again. Still mad. I stroked her face. Still mad. I'll kiss until you're not. Words not finished. Liu Ryan already covered my mouth with her hand. Her eyes wide in the crowd. Mind your words a bit. Then in that crowd, I lightly licked her palm. Liu Ryan blushed. Her beautiful face really radiant. I propped chin, looking at her. Liu Ryan, as my girlfriend, has to let me kiss and hug. Get used to it. What's so hard? Liu Ryan softly said. Next time doing that, can you let me wash hands first? Not hygienic. Haha, she's too cute. I wasn't the top scholar of Wachang #1 highest college entrance, but second place. Top 50 of province. Wachang #1 high took to spots. My score shocked quite a few people. Homeroom teacher specially called to talk. After confirming my score had no issue, teacher excitedly started coordinating school promotion. When returning to school, around me full of lively people. By you, a very excited buddy. Your college entrance score real or fake? How copy such sky high score? You were playing pig to eat tiger before. By UA did well on college entrance, but not enough for top university. And my deskmate Chen Zi, his score in 12th grade improved very fast. Performed exceptionally. As expected, he could also enter top university. Just that he looked at me, eyes shining. Zia Kong, you're amazing. Praised until I was embarrassed. Also temporary behind desk by UA, still chatting, but he chatted with his deskmate. Sister Yan, how did you teach? Taught out a 700 score person. Liu Ryan. Teacher little Liu recently a bit failed in teaching. Even though I said the study plan she made for me was very useful, she didn't believe. Local newspaper noticed my pre-exam scores. Immediately hyped the dark horse of Wachang #1 high, which is me. Suddenly several papers contacted for interviews. At that time I was busy taking over company work and busy dating. These interviews caught me off guard. Not long, don't know where press heard that I had a directly admitted girlfriend. Focus suddenly became the top student couple. The interviewee harassed from 1 to 2. Liu Ryan's number somehow leaked. One day eating dinner with her, someone called, hello Miss Liu. I heard you and Zia Kong are dating. He thanks to your help. From near bottom of block to top 50 province. Can you share your tutoring experience? No interview. Thanks. She looked at me full of blame, as if I made her carry an inexplicable title. Too cute. Teacher little Liu. In August I had a car accident. That day the driver drove normally. An old car rushed straight on the road. Sudden collision. Driver in that instant steered sharply. In just a tick. One personally saw. That car grazed past the front of my car. Crashed straight into the roadside railing. I held on until the ambulance, then lost consciousness. When waking beside the hospital bed were assistant and my girlfriend. Liu Ryan saw me awake, immediately went to call doctor. Outside vaguely heard someone yelling. His mother. Why not let me see my son? I have right to know my son's condition. It was Wong Nas voice. My head hurt like vomiting, but still tried to speak. Uncle Ha report to police. This accident wasn't random. Uncle Ha was assistant left by Grandpa. one of the few I could trust. Hashu heard realized the seriousness. Immediately went to call. When doctor came to check me, door had bodyguards guarding. They blocked Wang Na. Not long after police came, Wang Na was taken away. I also breathed relief in the ward. Then I knew. In this accident, the only fatality was the offending driver. My car's driver reacted fast enough, saved me and himself. A few days later, Uncle Ha brought news Wang Na hired killer for me. Evidence clear. The offending driver had terminal illness. Anyway, wouldn't live long. I'd long guarded against her, but didn't expect her this crazy. My biological mother. She thought she did it cleanly. My injuries weren't serious, but concussion sequelae made me uncomfortable endlessly. Liu Ryan cared for me in hospital a few days. Finally rested stable. I leaned on her shoulder, stroking her small hand. Still scared little Liu. Almost I couldn't see you anymore. Liu Ryan's hand these days let me hold. Seemed she was scared too. Good girl, wait till discharge, meet husband of Wang Na. He brought son to kneel and beg me to forgive my biological mother. Zia Kong, that's your mother. Can you bear sending her to jail? Your little brother is still so young. How will our father and son live after? I smirked. When she wanted to kill me, did she think I was her son? Karma in this world has rules. But I still went to see Wang Na once. Through the glass. She told many childhood stories. Like endless wanting to please me. Sometimes apologizing, sometimes regretting. Finally, I spoke. My dad before used to do annual health checks. 2 years before dad diagnosed terminal. The check reports were all taken by you. You said dad was very healthy, right? Later, I found dad's check reports. Those 2 years reports missing, but with some tricks still traced from hospital. Wang Na's face stiffened. She probably realized this matter had no turnaround. Time too long. Can't prove. My mom back then didn't see the check reports. Completely didn't know her health condition, but early from 1 year before terminal diagnosis. If not Wang Na deliberately hiding, dad wouldn't have passed like that. Wang Na was the murderer of dad. Chance to send her to jail, I'd waited long. University life began. Liu Ryan and I studied at same university, but different majors. Her intelligence continued shining in university, quickly winning prizes in many competitions. And because of that face, especially love, I also had new pursuers. Because she and girlfriend both too busy. When refusing, I said I have girlfriend. They still didn't believe. Until Liu Ryan came. Continuously ate with me for a month. The first gift she gave me was a watch, bought with scholarship. Liu Ryan said, see if you like it. A girl not fully out of family. In first love already spent big. I looked at her, put the watch on my wrist. Smiled lightly, why buy such expensive? Little money bag, you have so much money. Later when I earn money, it'll buy better for you. Liu Ryan said the sentence most people in love say. Difference is some just drop eyes. She was serious. I smiled really. Then am so moved. Want to kiss you, what to do? Liu Ryan. Actually, you just simply want to kiss, right? She understood me a bit too. Let kiss, not little Liu, let little Zia kiss, which. For years university. I bustled between school and company, going back and forth to places. Before university graduation, finally worthy of title CEO Zia and Liu Ryan. At school, bustled between competitions and academic activities. Won quite a few awards. Then preserved to continue masters. So I became CEO Zia. And she's still little Liu. Little Liu in my blanket, gentle and soft. I gave a bunch of car keys to my baby. Weekend after drive home okay. Liu Ryan these years changed quite a bit. She taller than high school. Going out also a beauty. These years she spoiled by my money not little. She sat up from bed. Took the key bunch I gave, played with it naughtily. Seemed a bit quiet. What's wrong, don't like this car? In garage, pick whichever you like. Liu Ryan looked at me. Softly said, you always give me things after finishing. Now I feel more like being capped. I paused, you noticed. Liu Ryan didn't mind. She hugged me. Very principled, said kept, then only keep me. CEO Zia after Liu Ryan master's graduation. She entered a tech company, just started annual salary far exceeded other fresh grads. University time she also earned quite a bit. Scholarships, patents, project subsidies. Every time earned money bought gifts for me. Economically little Liu not as good as me. But overall, this was still a healthy and positive relationship. When proposing to Liu Ryan, she clearly stunned for a long time. Then asked, does this mean I'm marrying into wealth? Why is she even more humorous? Liu Ryan agreed to my proposal. My wedding was very grand, because had to invite quite a few business partners. Scene couldn't be casual, under everyone's witness. We completed the wedding. After marriage, Liu Ryan very busy again. Occasionally had to go on business trips. When video call could only see not eat. I a bit sad, oh. Why after marriage still live apart? Me at this end, husband in phone. Liu Ryan laughed few more days back. So can wear uniform. I looked at Liu Ryan full of expectation can have a bit principle, but principle can step back. Later she and I discussed having child. Liu Ryan and I at 29 had a daughter, little Zia, and came to this world with a gentle mother and rich dad. When she 3 years old, round eyes and chubby face very cute. Small mouth chattered, loved talking. Voice of Liu Ryan's decimate echoed from behind. But when at 5 she said, 1 + 1 = 11. Liu Ryan suddenly a bit silent. I also silent. This child doesn't know like who self-made silly. This really out of expectation. But no matter. Healthy and growing is fine. But little Zia and as years passed grew, finally showed steady talent. She and baby's mom both sighed in relief. Liu Ryan Zia Kong the girl probably like mom. End of story.